Just two words in Farsi. همیهنان عزیز، درود بر همگیتون و سپاس از اینکه در این برنامه شرکت کردین امشب. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'd like to thank Rabbi Cooper, the Simon Wiesenthal Center, No to Anti-Semitism, and the Museum of Tolerance for their kind invitation. I am glad to be back at the museum for this important conversation. Only days after International Holocaust Memorial Day, I am pleased to be here with leaders of the Jewish community, and particularly our Iranian Jewish compatriots. Just 4 months removed from the massacre of October 7th, we need not be reminded of the continued bloodlust that astoundingly many still have for the Jewish people. But walking through these halls is a particularly stark reminder of the grave crime perpetrated by a diabolical regime that the West tried to appease. That appeasement came at the cost of 6 million Jewish lives, untold innocent civilians, and millions of young military personnel. Regrettably, we see that in many circles, the appeasement of bloodthirsty tyrant continues on as a justifiable policy option. As more innocent people continue to lose their lives to the forces of hatred, allow me to speak in particular to the Iranian Jewish community. For more than 4 decades, this regime has specifically targeted you, your leaders, and your community. Unfortunately, that continues today. I know you are feeling immense and indescribable pain. I know you have had friends and loved ones stolen from you. I know this pain because I too have lived similar personal loss and grief. You're looking for answers. You're looking for solace. You're looking for peace. Tonight I am here to remind you that while many in the world turn their backs on the victims of terrorism and on the Jewish people, the Iranian nation is turning towards you in embrace. When you see posters with the name of hostages being torn down in cities around the world, remember that Iranians, just as they did after the September 11th attacks, are demonstrating their sympathy and solidarity with the victims and the hostages. When you see the Star of David burned, remember that Iranians refuse to desecrate it and instead hold it high alongside our eternal Lion and the Sun flag. When you see the rape of female prisoners defined as resistance, remember that Iranians know the truth, because they too suffered the very same fate in the Islamic Republic's prisons. When you see all of the hatred, and it feels like you have nowhere to turn and no place to call home, remember that you are part of the Iranian nation. We, your fellow compatriots, share with you this home. When it feels like you have nowhere to turn, you can always turn home. And know that for anyone who seeks to divide us, Iranians from Iranian, as a secular democratic nation, we shall never permit it. We extend this same welcome to our non-Iranian Jewish friends. Iranians stand with you in this dark moment. Because even though we don't share the same nationality, we have a shared biblical history. We Iranians have not forgotten it. If your rallies across the world, you have seen Iranians standing alongside you and even standing up for you, inspired by the legacy of Cyrus the Great. Upon my return from Israel last year, speaking to the Anti-Defamation League, I said that just as Cyrus helped liberate the Jewish people from Babylon and aided them in rebuilding their temple, we Iranians too have a temple. But an evil anti-Iranian regime has occupied it and has taken its people hostage. Iran is our temple. And my friends, we are facing a common enemy. Indeed, this evil regime is waging war on both of our great nations, Iran and Israel. And just like it did to the last diabolical regime the West tried to appease, this feckless policy is leading to more devastation and destruction across our region. From Hamas and Islamic Jihad in Gaza, to Hezbollah in Lebanon, to the Houthis in Yemen, to militias in Syria and Iraq, our entire region is paying the price for this policy of appeasement. From the refusal to enforce sanctions, to paying ransom for hostage-taking, this policy is not weakening the Islamic Republic, it is incentivizing and emboldening it. By now, it should be clear to all what has so long been clear to us Iranians. The Islamic Republic is the eye of the octopus controlling all of these tentacles. Attempting to appease this Goliath is futile. After 40 years, the time has come to give David a chance. My friends, the people of Iran are the Davids of our time, and they are rising up not only for their own sake, but for that of the entire Middle East and the entire world. Despite more than 4 decades under this regime's reign of terror, they are not backing down. Indeed, they are doubling down in their fight for their liberation. The Islamic Republic must go, and the Liberation Army is the millions of Iranians on the streets paying for their freedom and for peace in the region with their lives. Let us ensure that if they are to make the ultimate sacrifice, they achieve their lofty goals. We can do that by supporting them in their battle and not by sitting on the sideline. In more than 4 decades, I have not sat on the sidelines waiting for miracles. And for many years, it was a lonely path. Before today's courageous Gen Z of Iran on Iran's streets were even born. But I knew the time would come, and now it has. I knew this time would come because I had more than hope. I had belief. Belief in our nation and belief in our people's resolve. I believe that just as Iranians of all faiths lived peacefully alongside one another before the revolution, only to see their lives shattered and disrupted. Once free, we shall once again be a nation committed to respecting and upholding the fundamental freedoms and rights of all our citizens. In light of such readiness, the world, particularly those whose vital interests depend on fundamental change in Iran, must seize this moment and maximize our chance of success by giving us their full support. I count on you, members of the diaspora, and all friends of Iran, to join us in this campaign for liberation. Thank you very much. Thank you.
شما بفرمایید.